A man named Terenzio rushes into a Brazilian airport in the opening scene of the movie. His countenance clearly showed he was panicking, and he was also in such a hurry that the people seeing him would think he was about to miss a flight, but that was very far from being the truth. He made his way to the help desk, asking for any flight ticket to the west, but he finds out that the nearest of all is 2 hours later. He didn't mind as he went on to purchase the ticket for the sake of one thing: crossing the terminal. In the same airport, Ines, a popular influencer, is in a video chat with her friend in New York when suddenly she chokes while still on the phone. Ines became worried, especially because there was nothing she could do to help her friend. Outside the airport, people who are watching the TV see that the reporters as well as the live show hosts have all passed in front of the camera. And not just that, but a great number of people outside are lying dead on the streets. The viewers think it must all be a joke, save Terenzio, who knows what is going on. He says to himself that it is time to act. He immediately makes his way to the terminal, and when the guard is distracted, Terenzio snatches his gun and forces everyone out of his way. Right away, Terenzio rushes to a flight that is about taking off to Moscow in just a few minutes. Only a few passengers have boarded the flight. When he gets into the flight and holds everyone in it at gunpoint, the pilot is nowhere to be found, and the co-pilot, Matthew, refuses to help the terrorist. As Matthew and Terenzio fight for the gun shoots Matthew on his palm and injures Sam outside. As the passengers panic, the flight attendant, Gabrielle, tries to calm them down. Just then, Terenzio shows up again out of the cockpit, asking if the flight has any pilot on it. A woman with the name Sylvie stood up. Despite only being a retired helicopter pilot, she, alongside Matthew, flew the plane at Terenzio's order with all the passengers still on board. As a result of the bullet from the earlier shooting in the plane's avionics are broken, resulting in the inability of everyone on board the plane to contact anyone outside of it. When the plane is in air, Sylvia and Matthew try all they can to reason with Terenzio, who only remains adamant, saying that he is an officer on an assignment to NATO, and that he knows something which they do not know. Due to urge, Terenzio reveals that the sun's rays have become deadly, and the next day, the sun's rays will kill everyone, not even sparing this inside the house. This has already begun in countries in the east like Korea and Japan, and the next target will be the plane if the sun catches up with them. It is difficult for Matthew and Sylvie to believe him as they think he has some mental illness. Terenzio on his own also acknowledges that he might sound like an idiot, but claims that he is not. Due to the bullet injury, Matthew's hand continues to bleed profusely and may result in a bigger problem in the long run. One of the passengers on board, named Laura, is the only medical personnel in the plane. She is a home nurse to an old man who suffers dementia, so she takes up the responsibility of helping the pilot. There is no sewing kit with which they will close the wound, so they make use of the hand knife. Matthew screams in pain, and the panic among the passengers increases even more. Matthew is aware that the passengers starting a protest would mean the death of everyone, so he calms everyone down and tells them that they would be landing in a different location as Terenzio wishes, after which they will continue their journey to the original destination. Due to the fact that they were taken at gunpoint, Matthew hopes the fighter jets will come to their rescue, but Sylvie, on the other hand, feels they are on their own. One of the air passengers, named Ayaz, had heard them talking about the sun and suspects that the pilot is telling them lies. Suddenly, one of the passengers begins to cough and in no time falls unconscious. Ayaz pretends to be helping him, but in the process snatches Terenzio's gun. Ayaz orders Terenzio to be locked in the toilet while he commands the pilot to tell them the truth. The pilot then discloses that they are landing in Iceland because Terenzio wants to go somewhere west. There, the terrorist will be arrested by the police while the others will be let free. The pilot also tells the passengers about the sun, and Terenzio thinks it would kill a lot of people. This gets the passengers more scared, and they start remembering the strange incidents occurring before they took off, and they are worried about their families. As the captain, Matthew calms them all down and promises to bring them all to safety. After some time, he tries to land in an airport in Iceland, but receives no signal from the traffic control. As they get closer to the ground, they notice that many airplanes have crashed into each other and that people are running around looking for safety. They all finally come to the agreement that Terenzio was telling the truth, but they cannot land due to the blockage of the runways. The plane has only enough fuel to fly a bit west to Scotland, and the captain decides to do that, hoping for the best out of it. He releases Terenzio from where he is locked so he can let everyone know what is really going on. Terenzio reveals that he got to know about the sun by sneaking an ear to his senior's conversation. He does not know the reason for its occurrence, not when it will stop, but all he knows is that for them to survive, they must fly away from sunrise. The passenger who had collapsed, however, was still on the floor, finding it difficult to breathe, and with his last breath, he said he swallowed diamonds. Laura's attempts to save him were all to no avail. At the same time, they go through an emergency landing in Scotland. Matthew managed to stop the plane a few steps before it hit the wall, and as they went outside, their phones beep with numerous notifications from their loved ones. The internet is filled with news of the deadly sunrise. Only half of the world is left alive as they are waiting to join the other dead half in death. The airport is totally without life because everyone who had a way to run away has fled while the rest are hiding in darkness, hoping to get protection from it. However, the news has it that even inside bunkers, people are still dying. They were approached by 3 RAF servicemen asking for their help. With just 45 minutes left till sunrise, they decide to take everything they need for the journey to the west. One of the passengers is an aircraft engineer, Jacob, and he wants to go home to save his pregnant wife, but for the safety of everyone, he is asked to step back. They take off once more after collecting all they need and filling the tank of the airplane. One of the passengers, who is a pilot, suggested that they fly away from the equator to avoid the sun catching up with them. Their next stop is in Canada, where they fill up the tank and fix the radio. Not long after, the internet is fixed, and they receive their last messages from their already dead loved ones. A man from the plane finds an article that explains the cause of the disaster as being the sun's polarity. There is a passenger named Horst who is a climate specialist and knows what the sun's polarity means. Horst explains that once every 11 years, the magnetic field of the sun reverses, and the reason is still unknown. Much research has not been done on it because it does not have a significant effect in the world. However, the intensity of the reversal has been growing weaker over the past few decades, and Horst says that the reversal has grown powerful in the other direction, and if Horst's explanation is true, it means the Earth is being blasted with gamma rays everywhere the sun falls, and this explains why people are instantly dying. There is no way for them to publish this discovery because the scientists who published the article are probably also dead. To know what happened in the rest of the movie, watch the second part in this channel also. Thank you.